They must have hit that K dot and was like, they not like us.
Is to see Bud fight Fundora because I'm really intrigued by that matchup.
I mean, he's a champion. He's got to be ready. Even if we think he is or not, he's got to be ready.
They're just guys that Tiffany knows. Once you're in this boxing game, you're going to keep bumping into these same guys that are in this business.
But I think that he learned something about himself that night, which I think will carry forward in the future.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? We back again because this is episode 110 of the Standing A podcast. We got a packed house tonight, man. Hey, we got the usual suspects. Aaron Sorial, what's happening, Aaron? We got Courtney, the burnt brown sugar in the building. What's up, boy? We got the first lady of boxing, Tiffany Daniels. How you doing? Yeah, and then we got, man, we thought we'd never get him back again, but we got him back again for 110. Gary, Kills 3D Boxing. What's up, man? Hey, we're gonna get into some real topics today, man. And also, you know, we got a few topics, but we got an interview, a special guest coming to y'all. We're gonna have him on a little bit later. But first, we're gonna get into a few topics. The first one we want to talk about is Dmitry Bivol and Beterbiev. This is a fight that, I mean, a lot of people have been wanting to see and are going to see, and it's going to be a battle. So I want to just talk to y'all, man. And first, we get a little bit of intro, see how everybody's doing, but we're going to get right into this topic. So first, we're going to go with Aaron. How you doing, man? And then just give us a few thoughts that you think, you know, about this announcement of this fight, what we have coming up, this whole card.
Yeah, so it's finally been personally, I'm fine, not much day-to-day stuff, but I just want to get straight to this finally scheduled fight, October 12th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia versus Beterbiev versus Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight crown. It's finally set. You know, fortunately, you have Beterbiev recover from that injury. But in the meanwhile, while that happened, Bivol, you know, had that warm-up victory, I guess. So now it's all set. As far as my early first impressions, right now at this juncture, I'm favoring Bivol. I'm giving him the edge to win that hard-fought battle. I just think his skill set is in a different higher level than Beterbiev. So those are my first impressions so far.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna say my thoughts myself because I think we may have a little bit of dissenting views somewhere on this panel. So we're gonna dig down into it. Tiffany, how you doing? We're going straight to you, to the first lady of boxing. How you feeling?
That was a great intro first, Aaron. I love the intro.
Yeah.
That was great.
Shout out.
My thoughts on that, I'm kind of leaning towards Bivol too, only because the injury with Beterbiev, and he's almost 40 years old. Like, when you get old, I don't know, I'm probably maybe one of the older people in this group. But man, it takes a lot to recover. You don't recover the same from when you're in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot more to get ready. It takes a lot. You can just wake up and get an injury from going to sleep at night. So I feel like age may play a factor in that. And so I'm kind of leaning towards Bivol, but I was kind of thinking like I'll save my other thought for that because I've seen something online today about where it's going to take place as far as TV. So I don't know if there's some changes going on there, but I did hear something, but I haven't had anything confirmed yet. So I'll pass it back to you.
Oh, we got a teaser right there. We got a teaser going on. I see you. Gary, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. It's good to be back, and y'all got me whenever you want me.
Hey.
I love being a guest on this show. I'm gonna change the pace up now. Yeah, I was surprised. When Tiffany, we're talking about Beterbiev's age, and he's old. He's 39. I'm like, well, I'm looking at the other day. I'm like, Bivol's got to be old too. I looked up. He's only 33, which made me think, like, how old was he when he was beating like Samuel Clarkson on Showbox, right? Because that felt like forever ago. I thought Bivol was going to be like 36. He's not. He's only 33, which is not old. That being said, I still don't think he's ultimately got the power or the size to keep Beterbiev off of him. I think it's going to be one of those things like the Vazdik fight where Beterbiev is winning until he's not. Bivol's going to be winning until he's not. I think Bivol's going to put some early rounds in the bank, but Beterbiev isn't just some slow, plodding pressure fighter who can't box. He's got a ton of skills himself. So he'll be able to stay in the fight. And I think it's a matter of time. He's such a physical force. Eventually, he's going to stop him. He's going to break him down and stop him. I like Beterbiev to stop him around 9 or 10.
Ooh, see what I'm saying? I already knew it was coming. I already knew it was coming. Gary coming with that heat. He said 9 or 10 for Beterbiev. That's what I'm talking about. All right, man. And with no other ado, Courtney, let's get up to you, man.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? So, first, I got to start this out with a shout out, man. I want to shout out my man Michael Cockrell from Strong Island. I remember back in the day when Beterbiev first started popping, and he would be on the boards, especially back in in Pound for Pound, singing this dude's praises. He was in this dude's corner like my man Michael Carvalho was in Triple G's corner back in the day, man. Like, and I was just like, I don't see it. I don't see it. This dude is impressive right now against some very mid-level fighters. Like, but he saw something, man. And here we are today, where Beterbiev is about to fight for all 4 Infinity Stones, or the final one, if not. So that's a shout out to him, man, for his vision and his incredible belief early on in the fighter. I think that's always special, man, when somebody is locked in with a fighter at the earliest stages and they see it before everybody else sees it. That's got to be, and I'm sure he's not the only one. So, for Beterbiev's fans out there, the people who are rocking with them and believe from day one, that's got to be an incredibly rewarding manifestation for him to even be in this conversation and to be, as we're headed into one of the most anticipated fights of 2024, and a fight that we've been anticipating for a couple of years now, that these guys have been circling each other. And it's finally going to go down. It's finally going to happen. And I think I don't know, man. It could be a candidate for fight of the year, just because stylistically with Beterbiev, that power, and that durability that he's shown in the ring, and that poise to be able to take guys late into fights and to basically turn, did a old school, cut the cable off, disconnect the phone line, probably cut the alarm system, and sit in total darkness. But nah, man, on my punditry, the way I see it, man, I'm going with Bivol. And I think a fight of the year type scenario is not out of the question. But the way I really see this with the intangibles just on paper, I don't think it's even going to be close. I think this is going to be a masterclass by Bivol. I think Bivol is top 3, if not the best, as far as being most technically gifted and sound fighters in the game right now. If you look at Bivol, he is a guy who wastes nothing. Every move is calculated. There is rhyme and reason for everything he does. And just that performance he put on against Canelo. A lot of people could say Canelo was undersized. It was a mismatch. Canelo came in, there's a lame duck because he was dealing with injuries. But I say this, Canelo had went there and knocked out. He had knocked out Kovalev. He had knocked out a guy who put Andre Ward on the canvas. And basically was a dude who gave Andre Ward all he could handle. And Bivol and Kovalev had a belt at that time. He was one of the 4 champions. You know what I'm saying? I won 175. So, you know, for Bivol to do that against the Canelo, who did that against one of the most feared and punishing dudes in this modern era of the light heavyweights, and doing it the way that he did it, I think it just doesn't bode well for me, for Beterbiev. Also, you know, a couple episodes back, I joked that Beterbiev can be considered the Derrick Rose of boxing with all these injuries. You know, he's getting up there in age, as Tiffany alluded to, you know, with the injuries, with it being harder for you to recover, just being older in general, but being older in boxing and having to recover from some of those injuries, I think that's very telling. And with the frequency and the thing is also with those injuries, what that does to your mental going in. You know, this is a guy, Bivol is, he like Gary said, he's been doing it for a long time. We've seen this dude on Showbox back in the day. And we've never heard of any significant injuries. His only layoffs are guys, you know what I'm saying, who get injured again, you know, get injured in the run up to fighting him, or guys who are waffling about fighting him. So I think Bivol, he's just too much of the package for a guy like Beterbiev. When you're looking at it, Beterbiev is tough and he has a big punch. But I think against a guy like Bivol and that skill set, you need a lot more than that. And you have to be absolutely keyed and turned on for every second of those of that 12-round fight. And Bivol is coming off a knockout. So, you know what I'm saying? I think his confidence too is sky high. So I think you know, I think it's one of those things where he's wearing Beterbiev down and he knows he's up on the cards. I can see Bivol risking it and going to end him late. So, you know, but now anybody who is predicting a Beterbiev knockout, I can't trash that. I can't marginalize that or diminish that, because that's what Beterbiev does. But we've also seen a precedence of where a big knockout puncher gets in with a guy who does everything else well, and it goes later on in the fights, and that guy is looking across the ring. It's like, damn, this dude is still here. That can be telling, and Bivol is not the person you want to have that mind state against, where you start lacking in belief in yourself, where you start lacking in confidence, because I think that's where he goes up to a higher gear. So, said all that to say, hey, I don't gamble no more, but if I did, I'd put the house on Bivol.
Come on, because yeah, let's go.
Are you
Let's
that
go.
confident? Like, no one's ever been able to go the distance with Bivol, with Beterbiev. Like, no one comes out alive. I'm not saying he can't win. He can. It's the same thing. Can Shakur beat Tank? Yeah, he could. Is he going to? Probably not. Right? Like, he's got to be perfect. Right? And like, not only does he got to be perfect, Beterbiev is so much more than just a knockout artist, a one-punch knockout artist. He can box with you and break you down. Like,
have we seen Beterbiev in there with anybody who is even remotely as skilled and complete a fighter as Bivol, though?
No, and if I ask you the opposite, have you ever seen him with a bulldog, you're going to say Canelo. But Canelo's not undersized. He's just not the size of Beterbiev. Like, Beterbiev is another animal. Like, I just, like, if you want to pick Bivol, I get the argument. I just don't understand, like, the confidence. Like, you're 100% confident.
I mean, and Canelo is a punishing puncher.
He is.
And he's way more skilled than Beterbiev. I mean, as far as from the technical aspects, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if we're going to resoundingly take Beterbiev, it's got to be based on something more than just like, well, Beterbiev. Because, I mean, look what happened to Wilder. Look what happened to Wilder.
Beterbiev's so much more than that. Beterbiev's not just a one-punch knockout artist.
Until it didn't. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of those main people who's just like, there's no way anybody is going to solve this equation until Fury did.
Hey, but shout out to in the chat. Hey, they live in the chat, man. Shout out to all of our members and followers, listeners, subscribers that's in the chat hopping in. Julian Givens, he just said a little bit on that, Courtney. Said Beterbiev put on a masterclass against Callum Smith, though.
I can give you
but
fights.
Callum Smith though, you know what I'm saying? Callum Smith. Hey, you know Callum Smith. He's far from garbage. You know what I'm saying? Very solid, very solid, very quintessentially technical British fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's got height, who's got size.
Yeah.
But I mean, Callum Smith and Bivol, that's like comparing Newports to GPCs, bro.
Oh shit. Hey, man, but and Gary, I knew you was gonna fire back with a little bit more on that one. I felt it coming up.
I get the Bivol pick. Like, I think Bivol is excellent too. I think he's a master technician. I think he's a master boxer puncher. But it was the level of confidence. I'm like, that sounds like almost arrogant. Like, you're not giving Bivol you're not giving Beterbiev any shot.
I mean, I repeatedly gave him a shot. Like, I mean, you can't get, if you look at his knockout record, there's no way you can count a dude like that out. And that's more than just like, oh, puncher's chance or whatever. No, that's a dangerous dude.
Yeah, he's a seek and destroy.
That's a dangerous dude.
Yeah.
You know, hey, being in the military, man, hey, there's some dangerous and nasty weapons out there, but there are also some highly technical and skilled EOD personnel out there, and that's how I see Bivol, man. I think he's a bomb diffuser.
And in my opinion, I can absolutely see both sides. But I think I'm on the Bivol side as well. I think
it's 4-1.
I think that I do think that, I mean, dude, I feel you, Gary. Like I said, Beterbiev he's flat out seek and fucking destroy.
And that footwork, man. People don't give him enough credit for that, man. Hey, go back and watch that tape, y'all. Hey, that footwork is splendid.
Yeah.
It's splendid.
Like, I seriously think that in this case, with all things considered, I feel that Bivol he's gonna again rise to the occasion. He's gonna rise to the level of his opponent, and those skills, you know, that Courtney is talking about. I think those are what we're gonna see step up. You know, in those key moments and in that type of championship fight, I feel like that's exactly what we're gonna see. I don't think that we're gonna see, you know, because when you got these two clashing like this and these different styles clashing, something's got to pop, and it's either Beterbiev is just gonna break Bivol in a moment, as you said, like, which very well could happen. I mean, he crushes shit, so he may catch him, and he could very well possibly, but I just feel that Bivol is much more well-rounded overall. It's not that he's lacking on the power side. It's not that he's lacking on the timing or the speed or the footwork or the ring generalship. He's not lacking on those things. So I don't feel that, like, if he gets caught with a shot, that he's not going to necessarily know what to do. I feel like he's going to rise to the level of his opponent. You know, he's going to be smart in the ring. He's going to definitely utilize the power that he absolutely does have. And I just feel like that, you know, when it comes down to it, his makeup of the skill is gonna. If I had to bet, man, I can't say if I see. I can't say I don't see a knockout, but I see a fucking bloodshed brawl. Like, it's gotta be fight of the year. Like, that's what I see, that it has to be. Like, because the two of them together, I just don't see either one of them breaking, and I just think that the skill that Bivol has is going to win overall. Like, at the end of the day, I think he'll make the bell. I don't think that Beterbiev is going to finish him, and if Beterbiev doesn't finish him, I see Bivol pulling it out.
Let me ask you this: like, when Bivol fought Canelo, he had Canelo going backwards. He had Canelo backing up into the ropes at times. Do you think he's going to be able to do that to Beterbiev?
No, but he doesn't have to do that in order to beat Beterbiev.
He's going to beat Beterbiev.
He doesn't
Okay.
have to.
He'd be on cruise control all 12 rounds.
You're telling me he's got to fight
I think he could beat Beterbiev going backwards.
He's got yeah. In theory, like it's the same thing. Shakur beating Tank. Okay, in theory, I get it. But
it's all theory until it happens, though.
He's got to fight perfect. Like he's got to be absolutely perfect. All right, I'm betting he's not perfect.
Hey, I don't think he's gonna have to be perfect, but I think that he's gonna have to rise to the level of what is gonna be across from him, which is a fucking beast, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't think that this is some slouch type game. He absolutely can get caught lacking.
What's that famous college basketball game where Villanova shot like 90% in the second half and beat Georgetown by a bucket? Like, that's what he's got to do. Like, he's got to do a perfect upset.
Hey, so you sound pretty confident yourself there.
I'm not he beat Canelo, right?
You're drunk off the power.
I understand the argument. I get it. Like, I get he outboxes him, he moves, he stays off the ropes. I get it. It's just like, now execute that, right? It's like, I get it. Like, here's the game plan to stop Kobe. Now go stop him. It's like, it's a lot harder to do in the ring. Like, I get it. Beterbiev's never fought anyone as good as Bivol. He's never fought a fighter as skilled as Bivol. I get it. So maybe he's in for something he's never seen before. That's possible. I'm just taking the guy that's destroyed everyone he's been in the ring with.
So it's Beterbiev. He's the only current boxer that has a 100% knockout ratio right now, right?
Verge doesn't anymore. So I
think, not anymore. Yeah. Verge lost his. So
Virgil, I think Matthias, he had one. Did he have one and he lost the fight?
He just lost the fight overall. So yeah, he didn't even win the fight.
Well,
Beterbiev at 20-0, 20 knockouts. Yep.
Well, I don't know. I'm not betting on anything. I just hope it's a good fight. I hope it's what Tommy said it's going to be and not a letdown. That's all I care about.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that. I mean, I hope it's not like, Bivol get caught and then it's just brutalization in round 4. We don't want that.
He's gone the distance with Joe Smith. He's gone the distance with Canelo, so he can take a shot. He's got a chin on him, so he should stand up. I don't think it's going to be a one-hitter quitter. We're
talking in terms of letdown as far as like Bivol gets caught early, and it's just over. I mean, but are we saying we can't envision where Beterbiev just gets on his bike? I mean, Bivol just gets on his bike. It just stays, it just stays at range, and we see Beterbiev swinging at air the whole night. Like, hey, that's not beyond the realm of possibility.
Yeah, very well could see something like that, man. But I think, man, like overall, we can already see the passion behind this fight alone. But let's talk about the card, man. I already know. Aaron shared that graphic on the card. I mean, this card is absolutely stacked. And on that card,
I'll pull it back up.
Yeah, pull that bad boy up, man, because on that card, we also got Shakur Stevenson fighting on that card. So, against the Welshman, Joe Cordina. So, that'll be that'll also, be Stevenson's first bout under the new promotion of Matchroom Boxing, which we know that his last fight was his last, and he was coming out there trying to shake his jelly and try to go to lunch with Oscar and everybody else and try to see who wanted to sing his praises and lay the red carpet out for him. And I mean, we see where he landed. If we were really paying attention to it, we kind of knew that this is where he was going to land, in my opinion, anyway. Like it was pretty clear where he was leaning towards. But this is definitely going to be a stacked card, man. I mean, we got Ben Whitaker, we got a lot of people that's going to be on this card. Eubank, it's going to be another stacked one when it comes down to another Riyadh season. So talk about what y'all think about Shakur, with landing with Matchroom, but then also, being on this card as a co-main. So let's go to Courtney first.
My bad. Stacked card. it look like I said, it looks like those old school Don King fight, cards where you used to have Mike Tyson, and then you used to have Julio Cesar Chavez as the co-feature. So definitely for a card and a main event of this magnitude, this is the way it should be. These are the supporting bouts that should that should be backing up a main event of that caliber. My only complaint about it is I do think down the card there should be people who are fighting better opposition. Like Eubank, I feel like Eubank he's kind of stagnated into back to that fringe contender. And the thing is like, dude, you kind of long in the tooth, man, in terms of, you've been at the cusp of title shots and whatnot. Hasn't really come to fruition or whatever. But I mean, with Eubank, it's like, hey, dude, it's time for you to shit or get off the pot. In terms of like, or do you really want to be a champion or not? With Shakur Stevens, I think a fight with Joe Cordina, I get it in terms of this is his way of this is Sheikh Al Turki's way of introducing him to the Riyadh season fan base per se and the DAZN audience. But the thing is, for what Stevenson is trying to do in terms of present himself as the viable, entertaining fighter, I don't think you're gonna do it against a dude like Cordina. Because the thing is with Cordina is that's a winnable fight for him, but Cordina is that's a dude you can't fall asleep at the wheel against, So what I'm saying, he's gonna have to use that measure of caution that he does very well, but that's not gonna do him any favors to any fans. I think I can see this fight as being one where on Monday everybody's talking about like, well, why didn't he do this, or why didn't he put his foot on the gas? Why didn't he go up to that next gear? So, and like I can comment on all the all the fights going down on this undercard, but we'll spread it out and I'll let somebody else get on the mic. But overall though, excellent card, and this is what we need to see in these huge main events like this.
Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying there, man. Tiffany, what's your thoughts?
Well, I was alluding to it earlier. I heard a rumor. I'm not sure if it's true that Beterbiev and Bivol was going to be on ESPN Plus, and Shakur was going to get bumped up to the main event on the DAZN card. I'm not sure if that's happening or not. I haven't seen it anywhere else but that one time, so I was kind of confused about that because he's clearly on the undercard and they're fighting in the same place. I think it's a stacked card, and I was kind of like what Courtney was saying, but Joe Cordina just lost. He just got knocked out. So I don't know about that. But I'm really excited to see Ben Whitaker on the card. I only seen highlights of him, so I'm glad to see him like actually on the card. And I want to see one of his fights. And then another thing, they have a group a female fight, a women's boxing match on there. That's pretty good for the sport too, because Saudi Arabia is building up their boxing for women over there as well. So it's growing bigger. So I can see Turkey doing more of that with the women's boxing as well. So I think it's a pretty decent card. These cards are turning out to be long as hell.
Yes.
I can't. I'm just going to pick and choose which fights I want to watch and keep checking back just in case people get knocked out and things like that. But it's a very long card, but I'm not going to complain too much about boxing and cards because we haven't got great fights here lately. So it's good that he's putting some good fights on. So it's exciting.
Yeah, no, great comments there, and like you said, even Sky Nicholson getting on the card for a good solid female bout. Ben Whitaker, like you even mentioned, I mean, we've seen all of the Matrix highlights of him, doing all of what he's doing and getting those viral videos going in the ring. But it'll be good to see him on this card as well. And yes, long cards, Riyadh season cards are long. But I'll tell you what, Tiffany, at least it does not have an Eminem concert on it. You could be glad about that you do not have to see an Eminem concert this time. So there you go. It's at least that much shorter. Okay,
Right.
like I mean, come on. You said he listened. There you go. Gary, what you got, man?
So Shakur going first. The card is good. I like the card. Shakur, I'm a Shakur fan. You know, I was at his last fight at the Prudential Center when his hometown booed him out and left after the 8th round. I thought it was a masterclass performance. I'm like, why are y'all booing? I thought it wasn't a good performance. I thought it was like an A or an A- performance. I thought it was excellent. I don't understand what he wasn't even going backwards the whole fight. Like he was coming. He still, pulls back, but he was marching forward. I don't understand what they wanted from him. Like it's like they went to an AC/DC concert and then booed when they played Hell's Bells. Like, what did you expect? Like, what did you think they were going to do here?
Yeah.
That being said, Joe Cordina. Can we be honest with Joe Cordina? Eddie Hearn's the only person in the world that thinks he's any good. Like, shout out to a friend of the program, Eddie Vasquez. We all know Eddie Vasquez beat him. We know that for sure. And then it gets knocked out by some dude named Anthony Carchachi, who has 2 knockouts in like 25 fights. Can we just keep it a buck on Joe Cordina? He's a British level fighter who Eddie Hearn manufactured into a world champion. Like, it's what he is. Like, Shakur Stevenson could have stayed at top rank and fought Jose Pedraza. Let me ask you a question. 21-year-old Abdullah Mason fights, I think he's 20. 20-year-old Abdullah Mason fights Joe Cordina. Who wins?
Abdullah Mason.
Destroys him by death, right? So, like, he could have just stayed on top rank and fought Abdullah Mason. It would have been a better fight. I know they wouldn't make that because it's too soon for Abdullah Mason, but I'm saying Abdullah Mason's way better than Joe Cordina. The card is good, though. The women's fight's good. I think Sky Nicholson might lose. I think that could be an upset.
This is a tough one for her, I believe.
I want to keep your eye on the money line in that fight. Sky Nicholson might lose.
Yeah, that one is definitely it could very well have some exciting times that happen in that one because we could see that upset for sure, man.
But the cruiserweight fight, Jai Apataya, that's my dude. He's fighting Jack Macy. Macy's only lost to a heavyweight, Parker. That's it. So at cruiserweight, he's undefeated at cruiserweight. So that could be an interesting fight too. Although I think Jai Apataya is elite level, pound for pound level type of guy. But it's a pretty good card. I like the card.
Yeah, and I think
he got 15 fights and Joey Cordina got 18. The difference though is Abdullah Mason doesn't have many rounds. He was fighting like 4-round fights, 6-round fights. He's building up, but he has 15 fights and he's going like crazy.
He would stop Cordina in 3 rounds or less.
Yeah, definitely could be one.
Like, to be real, like Joe Cordina is not the one.
Hey, so I think Gary feels some type of way about it.
He's a British level guy who was manufactured into a world champion. Like, I'm not hating on the guy. He's not a terrible fighter, but like he's got a ceiling. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he is what he is. And Abdullah Mason is above what he is. I knew Tiffany was gonna jump in there quick on that one right there. She heard that one. She was like, "Hell yeah, let's go!" Hey,
Abdullah
Aaron,
Mason by death in that fight. Yeah.
If he dies, he dies.
Like Mike Tyson said, if he doesn't die, it doesn't count.
Hey, for real, Aaron, man, what's your thoughts on all of this, man?
Regarding Shakur Stevenson, I'm kind of neutral as far as the first matchup choice under Matchroom. I share the same kind of sentiments with Corny. That's not the fight that'll bring out the excitement out of that fight. That'll change the narrative in favor of Stevenson. So, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll be proven wrong, and a new positive light. A new resurrected excitement will build up for Shakur Stevenson in his second phase of his career with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing. So, and also Sky Nicholson, yeah, she's one of the up and coming rising female stars, even trying to been taking jabs here and there against Serrano. So yeah, it's, she's making buzz. So hopefully that fight as well. I'm excited for it. So yeah, very stacked on the card.
So can I ask a question? If Shakur Stevenson knocks out Joe Cordina, is that going to help his stock at all? Because you're saying this fight doesn't help him at all.
It won't hurt it.
It won't hurt it.
It won't hurt
do
it.
anything.
It'll help
I mean,
at minimum.
It won't hurt it. But this is the thing, man. And like, I'm surprised that people just have not come to this conclusion in regard to Shakur Stevenson. If you don't come to fight against Shakur Stevenson, it's not going to be a good fight. And the thing is, early on in Shakur Stevenson's career, he was matched with dudes who thought they could come in there and get at him. As those dudes started getting bumped off and started going, and he started sending those dudes home early, the film and the receipts they got out on Shakur Stevens, and guys start going in there with him in order to survive. And basically, a guy like Joe Cordina, who's cagey at best, that's not going to be a good fight stylistically. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Cordina can throw punches hard enough to keep Shakur Stevenson honest, but then when Shakur Stevenson sees that, that's when he goes very A to B in there, and it's never aesthetically pleasing. I appreciate it because I'm one of those people. Is like, I think there's more to boxing than dudes just getting knocked out. I like to see tactics. I like to see strategy. Shakur Stevenson does that very, very, very well. But a guy like Joe Cordina, let's be real. Like Gary was saying, British level champion. That's not really the game over there. Is to go in there and try to end somebody or try to seek and destroy or go for blood. That's just going to be a fight where Shakur Stevenson settles in and just basically picks him apart on the scorecards. Shakur Stevenson, he needs to be in there with guys who are dangerous. He needs to be in there with guys who are going to pose a significant risk to him in order for Shakur Stevenson to get to elevate to where people want to tune in.
Hey, yep. Aaron hit the nail on the head like a Zapata. Somebody that's going to get in there.
I already know how the Shakur Stevenson fight goes. 119-109. Shakur loses the first round and wins the next 11. And everyone says, I already know how it goes, right? Like,
I mean, as Gary was alluding to earlier, it was just like, in terms of Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis.
Yeah.
And concluded with probably not. I think that's one of the most aesthetically pleasing stylistic matchups that can be made because of the clash of styles.
Yeah,
that's you know what I'm saying. That's a classic 70s, early 80s fight right there.
Hey, that's water and fire.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying. And I don't think the conclusion can be foregone either way. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if we're constantly holding to this adage that styles makes fights, those styles will make a hell of a fight in that case. And to me, that's a 50-50. That's a 50-50. And it's dangerous. And diabolical as Tank has shown himself to be, I think the person who stands the best chance of beating him is Shakur Stevenson. I want
Shakur to win. Like, I'm rooting for Shakur because I want the scientist to win, right? Like, I love the sweet science. But here's the thing, right? Like, I love the fight as much as you do. The casual is going to look at that fight and say, no matter what, it's a boring fight. Either Shakur Stevenson wins and he dominates for 12 rounds and the casual fan says that was boring, or he's dominating for X amount of rounds, and then Tank knocks him out in whatever round, and the casual fan says, well, that was boring up until the end, right? Like, I love the fight like you do, but casuals are going to hate that fight.
Fair enough. Yeah, great assessments from everybody. But let's go to the next topic at hand. Before the Iriarte interview, as we all know, the WBO has officially ordered a fight between Terrence Crawford, who's the WBO interim, I believe, versus Sebastian Fundora. So which gives the pathway, the option. I mean the pathway for Crawford to instead of, that dream match with Canelo, he could, cement his legacy further by becoming undisputed at 154. So, which is more materialistically feasible in this case. So, Tiffany, let's get your reaction to that.
It doesn't shock me that happened. I said it before. I said it several times. It only makes sense for him to do two different things, and that was either fight Canelo or become 3 times undisputed champion. I've said that plenty of times when people are like, oh, he should fight Virgil Ortiz, he should do this. No, he shouldn't. He going for legacy, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to make history, and he said that many, many times, and so this does not shock me. I'm excited for that fight. I might actually go to that one, but then again, like I said, he's not going to lose that fight. Matter of fact, Fundora need to run it back with Jamonte Clark from Cincinnati, Ohio. You lost the fight, dude. You lost the fucking fight. So anyways, like I said before, it's the same old thing. Doesn't surprise me. He'll become 3 times undisputed champion at 154 and probably retire.
I like it when you interject Ohio headlines in there, try to, bring it into more specific context. So I love that. Even though we broadcast nationally, worldwide, I love it when you contextualize it in your hood, so to speak.
And that's why we need to get Marcus Nall back in this month.
Hey, shout out.
Right. Now you talking about Abdullah Mason fan, not the biggest Abdullah Mason fan you ever will see. He's in there with them.
Awesome. So, Tommy, I'll give you the baton as far as the hosting, but you're back. But Tommy, we segued into this topic. We all know WBO officially ordered Fundora versus Crawford. Your immediate thoughts? We all saw this coming, but now that WBO has, put its foot in the door, put their skin in the game. Your thoughts, Tommy?
So the first thing I'm gonna say is, Errol Spence, what were you talking about? You don't wait in lines. I'm just saying, he tried to pull that card, man, and I don't wait in lines, and he didn't want to try to get in front, think he was about to jump in the game. Now, what I will say is, I am disappointed that fight is not going to happen, because I was planning on going to that fight. It was going to be here on the home turf, and I was going to be in there, so I was going to thoroughly enjoy it.
Selfish reasons.
Yeah, for selfish reasons, I was going to thoroughly enjoy it. I will say, just truth be told, I felt that might have been a retirement party. Just saying for Spence, but this, yeah. So I'm on that same energy as Tiffany. We knew what was going on here. We knew what Bud was talking about. I've been saying it, like even when it came down to the Virgil Ortiz call and just how things might shake up. All of these things, these pegs are falling in place for Bud to make his way towards being a 3-division undisputed champion, and that's his main goal. It's not the money. The money is great. Yes, he wants to be paid handsomely for fighting in these last years of his career. But 1,000%, his eye is on the prize of becoming that 3-division undisputed champion. And
the Wheaties box.
You say what? He what?
He's going for the Wheaties box, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like, hey, come on, man. The belts are going to be all over the place. Like, he might have one of them Floyd pictures where he just laid up on the couch and got that the glass table with all the belts out. Like, that's what he's after, man. And so this just proves it. And I think that, if this fight does happen, and hey, shout out to the Fundora family. Like, we had a great time, speaking with them, and we'll probably have them on. We can talk about this fight. But I got Bud. I got Bud. And I got damage. I mean, I do think it'll be a great fight, but I got some damage. In this one. I mean, we might see a gazelle go down, baby. So I'm just saying, but I think it'll be a great fight overall. It'll be a great test, and it'll be a great fight. But we saw this happening. I knew this was coming. I knew that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, Bud was still going to make his claim to put his foot in the door and say, "This my shit." So here we are. Gary, what you got on this, man?
Yeah, shout out to Tiffany for remember that Javante Clark fight. I remember that fight because it was my birthday. It was August 31st. And I remember watching the fight, and Clark dominated the fight, and you hear 98-92 Fundora. You're like, what? Like, that's the worst scorecard I've ever heard in my life. Like, what? Like, 98-92 is right, but it's for the wrong fighter. And then the third judge scored it even. It's like, that's one of the worst decisions. But there was a lot of hype building around Fundora at that time. Oh, it's a 6'6" junior middleweight. It's like, I guess in retrospect, I shouldn't be surprised that they took it from Clark, right? They were trying to build a star. But I remember the card 98-92, and everyone's like, that how did you do that? Like, that's the worst scorecard ever. So shout out to Tiffany. No one remembers that fight. It was on an Arislande de Lara card, I think, in Minnesota. But the fight's intriguing. I ultimately think Crawford figures him out in the middle rounds and stops him. Like, Fundora's good and he's long, but he's floored and he's easy to hit. And if you're easy to hit against Terrence Crawford, it's only going to be a matter of time. So I like the fight. I think 154 is as high as Crawford can go, but I don't think Fundora's really got much for him. I think Crawford gets rid of him.
Hey, super easy, getting right down to it. Courtney, where you at on this, man?
All right. The last couple episodes, I've been taking a lot of heat because I think it's out there that I don't pay Virgil Ortiz a significant or amount of respect that he's due. I disagree. I don't think if you go back and you watch the episodes or you listen, I find it. I mean, I'm struggling to hear where I have not done that for Virgil Ortiz. But I'm saying that, like, as far as Virgil Ortiz, as far as Errol Spence, they might as well go ahead and fight each other, or Virgil Ortiz, the IBF champion, is looking for a dance partner. Murtayev, go ahead and earn this fight with Crawford that you say you wanted for so long. Go ahead and earn it instead of being propped up or being shoved in the line, or you have your backers in Sheikh Turkey and Oscar De La Hoya, because in its purest form, this is the integrity that we see in boxing, and this is a beautiful thing when we have organizations who are more about the integrity of the sport, the best interest of the sport, rather than sanctioning fees. The sanctioning fees are going to be there, though. You know what I'm saying, between these two. But I think the right thing was done. I think this is the fight the fans deserve to see. This is the fight that these two fighters deserve to be in against each other because of what's at stake monetarily and legacy-wise. And yeah, I mean, as far as Virgil, I mean, like I said, the last episode is kind of like he's fourth or fifth in line, and the doorman is pointing at him saying, "Hey, you can go ahead and come in and bring Spence with you." Like, no, like if it's like that, hey, they need to go ahead and fight each other, or Virgil Ortiz or Spence, they need to go ahead and challenge Murtayev for the IBF belt, so that we can go ahead and stop the BS and have one face, one name, one champion at 154. And I think Crawford, I think his motivation, as Tommy was saying, is he's going for legacy at this point, to do, for the shot to do what nobody else has done, and that's to be undisputed in the third weight class. He does that. I don't see why his face isn't on the Wheaties box for like the next 5 or 6 years, man. But I mean, we all know that boxing does not get its due in the plethora of popular sports, especially in America. But I think fights like this, enough of these fights get made, and this is how boxing comes back from the fringe. This is how boxing becomes more than just a niche sport. This is how boxing gets its way back into the American conscience. And as far as how I see this going with the prediction, I think it's quite simple. Crawford is a guy who uses everything he has, who is going to be in against a guy who refuses to use his best asset, which is his height and his length. and he will pay dearly for that. And I think he's gonna pay for that pretty early on in the fight. And we see Crawford leaving the ring with 3 belts draped around his shoulders and his waist. So,
hey, simply put, my man, Aaron, what's your thoughts on all of this, man?
Shout out to Michael Gomez. He was here. He really highlighted this. He really highlighted this matchup on our previous episode.
Yeah,
where
he did.
He really, I don't want to say gassed him up, but he really emphasized how unique Fundora is. Even though he's not your stereotypical lanky long range fighter. Like he has those luxuries, but if forced to, he can fight on the inside as well. And he doesn't have to fight that as a stereotypical rangy fighter. Like if he wants to, he can fight up close. But the thing is, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. For Crawford, he's gonna have to find he's got to get in range as well. I'm sure he can, but with Fundora, it's kind of tricky because Fundora, he can naturally get out of range if he wants to, especially at 154. That's the only that's the only itch I have about this fight. But I do favor Crawford, but I just want to put that out there in benefit for Fundora. That's what I want to mention.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, man. I mean, that's one thing that we can get very caught up in, right? When we're talking about Fundora versus somebody like Crawford. We think that size, the height, the length, but he actually does do pretty damn well fighting on the inside, especially for somebody that fucking tall, that long, that rangy. Like, he actually does a pretty damn good job of it. And I mean, we just wouldn't think that, but that's one thing that makes him a great fighter. But I mean, we again, when it's all said and done, we know who the fuck he's facing. So, I mean, it is what it is as far as, the matchup of skill and will. But 100% feeling all of the sentiments here. I know we got a few minutes before we may have.
Yeah. If anyone, that was our agenda before Iriarte comes in, but we have some time to kill. Anyone want to freestyle another topic you want to shed light on?
I was gonna say something about Fundora. I like him as a fighter, but you remember he was just knocked out by Brian Mendoza like 2 fights ago. We need to be thanking Keith Thurman that he's in this position right now, because if it wasn't for Keith Thurman right after the fight against Tim Tszyu, we would not be here right now. So let's do the domino effect. So Keith Thurman,
say that.
Thank you for having this fight. You're going to let my friend Terrence Crawford become undisputed champion by way of domino effect by falling out the freaking fight against Tim Tszyu. And where is Tim Tszyu, by the way? Like, nobody even talks about him anymore. Like, he doesn't exist. Like, is he no longer in his division? Nobody talks. I see him on Instagram working out, but I don't see anything about him getting a fight. So where is Tim Tszyu?
Yeah, and it almost just, I'll let anybody else chime in, but it almost kind of seemed like he's tried to get like his foot in the door with Turkey, and Turkey ain't been kind of feeling the way he operates. I mean, and we've seen that, right? We've seen it with Canelo, where Bud and Turkey are on one side and Canelo's on the other side at this point. There seems to be a little bit of that when it comes down to the Jerry Jones of boxing, aka Turkey. He's absolutely not feeling some folks' energy, and I guess it appears that Tim Tszyu is another one. So yeah, I don't know.
It kind of tears me up inside, though. Is first off, I think Tim Tszyu is a brash jerk, and I just didn't like, so I just really don't like dude, and it's kind of satisfying to say, because he swore he was going to come to America and take this over. And that obviously didn't happen. And in reality, it didn't happen because he caught an elbow. But
yeah, I was about to say that was a
really
fucking sharp
I don't really
shit.
care because you're a jerk, bro. But the thing is, it does tear me up inside, though, that we're like, and I'm not saying here on this panel, but like collectively in the boxing sphere, we kind of talk about Tim Tszyu like he garbage now, like he can't fight. When the reality is, Tim Tszyu, there's fights out there. There's fights on fights that could be made with Tim Tszyu that are bangers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and it's unfortunate that, you know, it fell through with Virgil Ortiz or whatever. But like, I mean, yeah, for as much as I think he's a pompous prick, I do want to see Tim Tszyu come back, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think if he peters out like this, I I hate to see careers end just because of the intangibles, and it's like we didn't really see the fullest expression of where it could have gone or where it wasn't going to go. You know, I think there's a lot unresolved with Tim Tszyu, and so he needs to come back so I can root against him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I put Tim Tszyu in that Carl Froch category. Carl Froch is one of my favorite fighters of all time, but I can't stand that dude. It's like he's my favorite fighter because I love to root against him. You know what I'm saying? I think secretly a lot of people are Floyd fans in that sense too. But yeah, hey, definitely want to see Tim Tszyu come back. And definitely want to see him in some of those matchups because I just think they're intriguing matchups and intriguing fights. As I told Tommy and Aaron before we got on though, I'm gonna duck out before we get to the interview portion. I think y'all got that. It seems like it's getting a little crowded with that many questions, and I know our audience are gonna chime in with some too. But before I do, I want to pose this on the freestyle. Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Do you think it's gonna happen?
Let me just say this.
Gary, tackle that, man.
I was in San Antonio for a local fight in San Antonio, and it was put on by Barrios' trainer from when he first, as a kid. And Barrios always shows up. And I asked the trainer, "Where's Barrios?" He said he's in Vegas training. I don't know if it's for Pacquiao, but that was the same time that was rumored. So I'm not saying no. I'm not saying it's going to happen. All I know is that Barrios is already in Vegas training. So make of that as you will.
Hey, has anybody seen Harlem Nights, man, where those gangsters are shooting at the thing and they got these fully automatic guns? This dude, that's what I feel like Pacquiao is like, with the supposed matchup with Pacquiao. It's just like, man, put that pea shooter away and fight Boots. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, that was my daft attempt at humor before I leave out. But hey, y'all know I love y'all, and hey, I know the rest of the show is gonna be fire. And hey, peace out, love y'all, and I'm gonna see y'all on the horizon.
Courtney the Burt Brown Sugar signing off, and just right there on time, right there on the money. We got the man, Joel Iriarte from Bakersfield, California, fighting at 147. Just signed the Goldenboy in March. Hey, coming off at four wins, 4 KOs, coming off a great win at the Michelob Ultra. Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, it's great to have you on. We're blessed to have you on. And how you feeling?
I'm good, man. First of all, good to see you guys. Thank you guys for having me on the show. Just finished training, man. I'm feeling happy. I'm excited 4-0 now. 4 knockouts. I feel like I've been, kind of just on a little grind. I had my 4 fights in 5 months, and I'm happy, man. I'm excited.
Hey, that's absolutely awesome, man. And what I'm saying, like you said, 4 fights, man. You already got 4 fights under your belt. You signed with Goldenboy in March. One of the things that we want to know, that you've been on your grind, you've been getting after it. Is this a pace right now that you are intending and expecting to keep coming into 2025?
Yeah, hopefully. I like being active, man. I feel like there's not many active fighters. Everyone's not fighting for 5-6 times a year, and I'm trying to make that happen. I'm trying to kind of be on everyone's radar. Keep everyone entertained. I feel like I have an entertaining style, and as long as I'm healthy, man, and God lets me continue fighting, I'm gonna keep fighting. I have an amazing team behind me, and they're always supporting me. Kind of just guiding me in the right direction, and I'm grateful to have them. And yeah, man, as long as we're all we come together and we're like, hey, you're good to go in a couple of weeks. We're gonna make it happen and continue being active.
Absolutely, man. And just kind of just dialing it back a little bit to your most recent fight. So, a number of us, we had the pleasure of being there and rooting you on and seeing you fight. Um, Talk to us about just how it felt being on that card, man. That Riyadh season card. There was a lot that went into that for the Virgil main card, but just overall, Riyadh season cards are they something else, and they're something to be on. And so you had the pleasure and opportunity to fight on one of those and be somebody that was really putting it down on there. Talk to us about how that was, man.
Yeah, man, Riyadh is coming up. Turkey was there, and he's kind of just putting together these cards, these stat cards, and I'm blessed to have been a part of this card with Virgil and Borchuk fighting. It's kind of just like it gives me like a little glimpse of like what I want to be on. How big stage that I want to be on headlining one day, and I'm blessed, man. 4-0, 4 fights being in 2 fights being in Las Vegas, opening all my 4 fights, opening the broadcast, and to kind of just make this fourth fight in one of those Riyadh cards. It's amazing. It's just I was able to see Turkey after my fight. Kind of just got a little video. Check it out on Matchroom. I got to see him. Hopefully we could be on another Riyadh card soon. He's just kind of putting together these stack cards with entertaining fights, and I feel like I have that style that kind of fits. Just kind of just that pace that he has those cards that upcoming cards coming up, and I'm all for it, man. I'm trying to be on definitely more of those cards.
You mentioned the excellency, Turkey, Alan Seek. It was a brief moment you had with him, but although brief on camera, off camera, maybe any words of advice that he put on you, anything at all that you could possibly share with us?
I just saw him. It was a brief moment. His time is super limited. He was there. He was, kind of just straightforward. He was there getting to the Virgil. Like at the time, Virgil was about to start fighting. So no, nothing. We just kind of got a little glimpse right there, just to kind of just kind of just to get some. I mean, just to meet him, be able to shake his hand, him to see my face. I introduce myself, and just so I could be on his radar. In the future, he'd be like, hey, I met him. Just be on his radar. But no words.
The timing of you turning professional, it's very positively coincidental. Now that Turkey at the same time he's coming in the boxing game, and that means he's gonna fast track more a lot of exciting fights. How excited are you for that, especially now that Turkey is being involved with Goldenboy as well? It's very exciting times for you as well. Would you say so?
Yeah, 100%, man. I feel like everyone's fighting everyone's fighting each other, and it's like how boxing is supposed to be. He's making boxing more entertaining. Hopefully there's less belts involved, and everyone's getting a shot to fight for a world title. If the best are fighting the best, or prospects are fighting prospects, and we kind of just start narrowing down who's actually the best in their division. And I'm excited, man. It's gonna be good to have him, and it's gonna be something different. I feel like boxing has been at a point where it just hasn't gotten that attention that it has been at for some time, and having Turkey around, I feel like it's gonna change that. It's definitely starting to change people's perspective on boxing now that there's big cards, and hopefully it kind of just puts us prospects at a position to kind of get that world title also sooner than later.
I wanted to ask you a question. I watched every minute of your professional career prepping for this interview. It only took me about 15 minutes. So it wasn't that hard to do. But you had an amazing amateur career. I think multiple, you can give me the exact number, multiple national championships. You fought everyone. You fought Abdullah Mason, Jahai Tucker. You fought my boy from Fort Worth, Joseph Ramaji. You fought Jaleel Hackett. You fought everyone in the amateurs, and you beat just about everyone. You're just 21. What made you say right now is the right time to turn pro? Like what made you do it, this year?
Yeah, I was 4 years on the USA team. Kind of more than what's, just more than what's usually what most amateurs have on the USA team. So not going to the Olympics was a tough decision. Just it was a decision that we took a lot of consideration, making sure that leading up to the professionals. I went into some time that I wasn't fighting because I was focused on making a good decision. My team came together. We were like, hey, this is what the contracts have to look like, what the team should look like. The promoters having, just the contracts, all the business behind boxing is crazy, man. And it takes a lot of time. You have to be patient. It's a decision that's going to take 5 years of your life, maybe even more. And that's things that you have to take a lot of consideration to. So when it came down to, hey, you have 4 more years of, just waiting around, or you can start working on your professional career, and you never know what happens. And the Olympics kind of started to get diluted. Just things started changing as far as the Olympic dream for amateurs and how it looks after the Olympics. For professionals, it's just a lot of changes. So for me, it was just kind of it was a tough decision just because that's always been a dream for since a kid. But just having a team behind me that supports me and just has been guiding me, and I feel like my style also fits the professional ranks a little bit better. So it was. I'm happy to be where I'm at, Sure Sports and everyone taking care of me at Goldenboy, just seeing the potential in me growing and growing at this pace has always been the goal. So, the goal is to be world champion. I feel like we're in that rail.
I wanted to piggyback on that because you took the words out. That was my next question. Your style, despite all of your amateur success, your style does look more fitting for the pros, which is like a scary thing. By your third fight, you were already fighting, scheduled 6 rounders. You're still knocking everyone out in the first round. But you were fighting scheduled 6 rounds, which tells me that Goldenboy wants to move you quickly. The welterweight division is a glamour division, but right now the biggest names aren't there. Do you see this as a division that you can move up the ranks quickly and get to a world title quickly? Or what's the blueprint? Like, what's the time frame until you're fighting those, high-level fighters?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, it's something that it's in my team's hands. Also, like we all come together and we make a decision together. As for me, I wanna yes get these fights under my belt, get more rounds in. Hopefully, being able to fight better opposition and just hopefully fight more rounds. And for me, if that's fighting, in my 8th fight, my 10th fight, fighting for a small title, something a little bit more important. That's what I'm looking for. I'm at 147 right now, but my amateur career I fought at 138, 139. So I was actually supposed to start fighting at 140. But we started at 147, just being comfortable. So I'm happy to move down and fight for something big. There's a couple big names in 140, and then kind of just start climbing the ranks. So hopefully I start to kind of just have something with a little bit better, or at least for a title shot, in a couple more fights, 8, 10, maybe 12.
Last question. You're really tall for your weight class, right? You're tall. I think you're 6'1". You're tall, you're long, but you also are really explosive and good on the inside, right? So, like, stylistically, how would you describe yourself, and where do you like to fight? Do you like it on the inside, or do you like to use your height and reach on the outside?
I'm Mexican, bro. I like fighting on the inside. No, I mean, it's just like, I was a good amateur. I'm able to like adapt to different, score points, be quick, be elusive, use my feet, use my distance, stay long, pop the jab. And I feel like that also translates, to the professionals. But man, no smaller gloves and no headgear is obviously a game changer. So the power that, backs me up is, kind of what makes the difference, at least in the professional ranks. And I'm good at fighting on the inside. And if I'm able to get them out quickly and just be on the inside and have some fun with them, man, I'm going to do that. So I could do a little bit of both. I love fighting on the inside, man, just throwing bombs, trading shots, kind of landing landing on the inside is what I like to do. Body, head, just the typical Mexican style.
The body punching is the first thing that you notice when you were really studying your tape. Like, you are a ferocious body puncher.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's something that we all, practice here at the gym with my coaches. I have coaches, coach, both of them are named Omar. It's funny. One is from Parlier, and my coach from Santa Monica, his name is Omar too, Villanueva, and they're, just tremendous coaches. Just being on the inside, staying tight, working the body, just because it's definitely going to wear you down. Body's going to start wearing them down, and then, that head opens up. But, we just kind of practice that you know, pretty much all my life. So it's kind of, but when it came into to the pro ranks, it kind of just, you know, fit in like a glove.
I'm gonna piggyback kind of on that realm. I'm a USA boxing official and a pro judge on both sides. So like, you know, the difference when you judging an amateur fight versus you judging a pro fight. What's the biggest adjustment you had to make moving from the amateur ranks going into the pros?
Yeah, to be honest, just making sure I'm sitting on my punches and keeping that guard tight, because without that, I mean, you don't have a headgear, so your hands are your headgear. So making sure you're throwing punches and, you know, just keeping that hand stuck onto the cheek is an adjustment that I've had to make. And then yeah, just pretty much sitting on my shots and maintaining my composure. Although it's in both amateur and professional range, maintain the composure. I feel like once you have them hurt in the pros, you're just like, let me hop on them like right away, and you know, with no headgear, it kind of just, it puts you in a dangerous position. But you know, just kind of maintain my composure a little bit more.
Hey, so a question that I'll ask, man, and you know, a lot of talk has kind of gone around with some of the questions here, but you know, as Gary talked about, kind of seems like, you know, Goldenboy, they want you to get out there and get in the mix. We've even heard, you know, obviously we've heard Oscar, you know, touting you, hey, he's the next up. You know, how does something like that feel? Like, you know, just not long ago, you weren't signed, you know, you got your pro debut, and you're getting sung praises like that, you know, by somebody like Oscar De La Hoya. How does that feel, man? You know, you're taking pictures with Turkey. He's giving you some advice. He's giving you some wisdom. You know, Oscar singing your praises. Just put us in your mindset when you're digesting that, when you're internalizing that. How does that feel, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just been a lot of sacrifice, you know, from the amateurs, you know, fighting in tournaments, you know, my dad sacrificing a lot, and now being at that point where I'm getting, you know, just, you know, a little bit of attention, or you know, some significant amount of attention from these guys that are legends, you know, like Oscar, and you know, just a lot of people that are known in the game, and being able to have, you know, advice from them and some respect is definitely like it feels like the all the hard work, all the sacrifice is just, you know, paying off, you know. Sounds cookie cutter, sounds cliche, but you know, it is what it is. You kind of just train day in, day out, work 3 times a day, you know, and just do all of this to be, you know, at that moment. And I'm just like trying to soak it up, you know, just, it makes me feel like, you know what, just make sure you're working hard so that you continue to perform the way you are, get better each and every fight. And, you know, that's what's going on in my mind right now. So, you know, although I get you know, I have their attention, I have their respect, I want to, you know, keep it and make sure I continue to impress and, you know, for them to be saying, hey, Joel, the next one, I want to prove them right, you know, and in a big way. So that's my mindset on that.
Yeah, man. I'll say one thing that I like to say is we do the hard work until the hard work becomes easy work. You
For
know what I'm
sure.
saying? Like you got to put that grind in. Consistency is key, straight up. So, you know, speaking on the hard work, just a little bit off topic, man. So when you're training, when you're working out, when you're running, at any given time, do you listen to music?
It depends, man. Sometimes when the runs, I mean, I don't want to be like all like philosophical and stuff like that. But like
No, bring
when
it,
you're,
man.
yeah, now when you're running and like the run starts to like, because I'm usually running uphill and like
Hmm.
8,000 elevation, 9,000
Yeah.
elevation, and it starts to get rough. There's this point where it's like you start breathing a little heavier, you know, you're keeping a big pace, and sometimes I take off the headphones, like I put no music, and you have to like lock in and focus, and that's just the
Yes.
difference, you know what I mean? So sometimes, you know, you're on a light run, depends on the, you know, the vibe and stuff. If it's a chill run, you know, just a recovery run, or you know, if you're running that mountain, it's like sometimes there's a point where you have to like lock in and focus, and you know, just kind of knowing the difference and when to like lock in. Just because it's important, man. Like when it comes to like the music, it kind of takes away from the attention of like your body and how you're self-aware with yourself. So definitely got to be like, start to be, you know, feel your breath, making sure you're breathing correctly, because I mean, you're gonna start pushing, and if you have a couple more miles left, you definitely have to be like aware of where you're at.
Can I
Yeah. Hey,
piggyback on
no,
that question real quick?
there you go.
Um, Not the ring walk, but the moments before, right? When you're warming up, the last few moments that you're warming up before the ring walk. Is there a specific artist or album that you listen to that gets you going?
I listen to a lot of Spanish music, corridos. If it's just a lot of upbeat stuff. There's a time I used to listen to a lot of rap, hip hop, little baby, everything. But at a point, there's all of us are Hispanic. I'm Mexican 100%. And I just listened to corridos. Pretty much was popping. Like you guys know, Peso Pluma, just a lot of those guys. Luis R. Different artists, but the walkout song I don't really listen to until the walkout itself, just because that song like just gets the blood going. But yeah, man.
I gotta ask you, your ring your ring entrances, is the bulletproof vest gonna stay for a while, or because I love it. So
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it out. I don't want to dilute it. I was like, let me bring it out, see what type of attention we get. If we get, depending on what the people kind of started giving me. But I mean, we'll bring it out and see how many more. Everyone loves it. The team, everyone here was all for it. I was thinking about changing up the patches or whatever. We'll switch it up, but yeah, man, I'll bring it out for sure.
Also going on an opposite tangent. I just want to. Diego Pacheco, who's speaking highly of you even before you turn pro. He's fighting tomorrow at the Dignity Health Center in Carson, LA. Revisit those moments where you interacted. He's giving you advice. Any advice you want to reiterate that for us who have not seen our first episode? Share any personal advice he's given to you as you work your way into the pros?
Yeah, for sure, man. Me and Diego, we're really, really close. From the amateurs, it was just a group of us that would, you're in the amateurs cutting weight together. You guys know how it is, man. We're just cutting weight, starving together. We fight together, see how we're doing, our performances, we win. We're all like kind of, in the same hotel room, just chilling. Coach Omar is also on Diego Pacheco's team, so we're always together. So we're together. He's doing it. He's doing what he's got to do to get himself to where he's at. And he kind of just gives me a little bit of advice on how it's been for him, his experience. Each perspective is different. He's gonna give me some point of views, and for he's just giving me the advice that pretty much any older sibling would give. Just continue working hard. It's just gonna pay off. Just stay motivated. Just pretty much the basic, the cookie cutter. Just the basic stuff. Keep working hard, stay in the gym, stay humble. You're gonna, he tells me that I'm gonna make it because we have a pretty similar style, pretty rangy, like to fight on the inside, Mexican style. But yeah, man, it's good to see him doing big things, and we're pretty much on the same team, man. Same coach, Coach Omar. He's in the same team, and I love to see him growing, man, doing what he's got to do. He's gonna get the W tomorrow by knockout for sure. So I'm excited to see him.
And I'm sure he didn't need to give you advice as far as the X's and O's because you're already ahead of the game. But I'd say fair to say he's been more so outside of the ring advice, business wise, philosophical.
Yeah, more just like I'm telling you, man, like super close.
Right.
Like when we talk, man, it's like more like, hey, bro, like what do you got going on outside of this? When it comes to boxing stuff, obviously it's like, hey, man, just make sure you get your sparring, you get your rest in. You got this going on. As far as the media is concerned, he's been like a big influence because media is a lot of the difference in boxing. We got face-offs and the press conference and post what do you call it after the fight when you have the post press conference and stuff like that. Just the media advice from him on how to kind of just like react to that stuff. But yeah, man, he's been a lot of like a support on my team as well.
Awesome. Tiffany, I believe you had something. Go ahead, Tiffany.
And sorry, Joel, I'm going back again one more time. So I know you were heavy in the amateurs, 17 national champion. Obviously, you spent a lot of years in the amateur ranks. Now, you brought up something that's important, that if you don't make it to the Olympics this time and you didn't go pro, you were going to wait like another 4 years potentially if the Olympics actually happens, right? Do you think that USA Boxing or somebody in the boxing world should create an NIL deal for boxers at that level?
Yeah, of course, man. That would be like I feel like that would be way easier on the boxers. It's something that I honestly didn't start even thinking about until I was like in the middle of my transition between professional and amateur, because I was like thinking to myself, okay, now I'm gonna go pro and I have to look for sponsors and stuff like that on myself anyway, because we're barely starting to climb. It's not like we're fighting for a world title either, and let alone in the amateurs, you're not making anything. You know what I mean? There's a couple sponsors that'll pay for your travel expenses, like your hotel, but even that's rare. You know what I mean? You have to go out, sell chocolate bars, do your little, you're selling, tacos and food plates and stuff, washing cars. So I feel like if there was a possibility for fighters, to get NIL deals and make some money outside, I feel like that's big, because a lot of the support that we're getting is there's not a lot of funds in it. There's like my parents, immigrants with Hispanic backgrounds, working hard, sacrificing, working 9 to 5, and they're sacrificing their income. So if we were to have it like, organizations like that, it would make it easier for the parents to stop work, go with their fighters, because like my dad was the one that was training me and going with me. So that's time out of his paycheck, and that's also expenses. So for sure, I feel like that would be a big help. I mean, I'm always trying to give back to the community. I'm opening up a gym myself for special needs, for boxers here in Bakersfield. There's not a big boxing, just culture in Bakersfield. So I'm trying to kind of just create like a system where we get a little bit more boxers, and hopefully, I have some potential sponsors for them to, to seek, and just kind of make it easier for them. But yeah, that would be an amazing. Like, that's a great point that you brought up. I feel like that would be big.
Yeah, boxing's so expensive. Like you said, it's so expensive for these kids and these tournaments, and they go for weeks at a time during school, and it's very, very expensive. But I was looking at your bio too on Goldenboy. Tell them to put your bio up. It's not there. Tell them to get your bio up on there, because I was looking it up. Tell Oscar get on that.
I'm gonna send him a message. I'm gonna tell him what's up. I'm gonna tell him Tiffany told me. Make sure you put him. I got you. But no, that was a great one. You know what I mean? I feel like people should be more aware of those NIL deals. Just because football players, baseball players, everyone else is getting them, and I don't see like a reason why boxers shouldn't be getting them. It's combat sports. You know what I mean? And I feel like it put more people, more fighters in a better position to continue fighting. And but yeah, that one was big, because a lot of the times fighters are only thinking like, okay, I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna become a millionaire and I'm gonna become a world champion, and this is all I know, And I feel like with NIL deals, it puts you in, like, fighters in a position to be smarter with their money, at a sooner point in their career. And I mean, I can see a ton of stuff coming up with that, and that's something that I've had to work on and teach myself. But if there was organizations, I'm sure like people would teach them how to go about it, how to do it with the money, what to do so that they could, benefit off of it long term.
Definitely, because you see those kids show up to the tournaments and they just got a bag, don't have nothing in it, no food, no nothing. It's like, oh my God, you feel so bad about that kind of stuff. So, yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll think about making something like that.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm gonna have to talk with these guys.
So one thing that, just even talking about a lot of this, man, you talked about your kind of upbringing coming into the sport, things that you've done, 17-time national champion, being, 4-year consecutive with Team USA, a lot of the things that has been along in your journey. You talked about, even just now, just mentioned like, opening the gym, like all of these things around youth. If you had some imparting words that you could, put out to the youth right now, those that may be on this journey, may not know that they're on this journey yet, but may embark on this journey, what would be some of those words that you would share and give to the youth?
Yeah, man. I mean, those are things that I'm all about. Reason is because balance, man. Like, there's a lot of things in life that, if you have resources or you have certain knowledge in something, why not share it? You know what I mean? Why not give it to someone that could learn it, sooner than you did? And, if I'm all about stuff like that, just kind of just sharing what I know with the youth. There's a lot of kids that are here training I train in my backyard, man. My 17 national titles, everything, my internationals, my USA, everything that I've done in boxing, 4-0, 4 knockouts, have literally been all in my backyard. So, just don't give up on your dreams. It's, it's just the blueprint. What you put in is what you're going to get out of life, and just continue working hard. I'm trying to also give back to the community. I feel like it's that balance. You do the hard work. I'm training in boxing. I'm kind of focused on just fighting and providing for my family. Just giving back all their sacrifice and being grateful for everything. And I just feel that balance is also giving back. So I try my best to just spread the knowledge with upcoming fighters. Just kind of the newer generation. Things change. Social media is around and a lot of kids' perspective on life is changing. So, kind of just being able to have them slow down, step away from all this, like this, just like a thing that's going on the internet. You know what I mean? You guys know how it is right now. So,
Yeah.
just everything that's going on right now, just having them step back, focus, and kind of just get to work, focus on what they have to get done, sooner rather than them starting, their 9 to 5. And although it's great, but like if this is what they're gonna do early in their career, just make sure they're on it, work hard, and everyone has to work in boxing. We're not making millions of dollars yet, so if you have to work outside of boxing, me, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur, self-employed, so I'm trying to open up a gym and kind of just create something going on for myself. So I'm just trying to spread the knowledge also. And a lot of the kids here like just look up to me, and I'm trying to be a good role model. And the person that you get in front of everyone and on camera and everything is the same person I am behind closed doors. If not, I'm more generous. I don't like to really share what I'm
Yeah.
doing because it's out of like the generosity out of my heart and stuff. So, yeah, man, just for the youth, it's just make sure you're working hard and follow your dreams, kind of just the average stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone says it, but it's true. Kind of if you're gonna do anything, it's bet on yourself. So I'm all about that.
Hey, absolutely. You got to bet on yourself, and you got to play to win every damn day, every damn play. So, man, hey, we really graciously, humbly appreciate the time that you have spent with us on the Standing A podcast, man. We had the absolute pleasure of being ringside and seeing you get that last victory and supporting you, man. We've been supporters from the beginning. We're going to continue to be those supporters. Um, on the supporters end, we want to turn the floor over to you. Anybody shout outs, mentions that you want to just, throw out there. The floor is yours to kind of, end us on this.
Yeah, for sure, man. Really, really appreciate you guys. I feel like you guys don't get enough credit. I've always said you guys have, always supported my journey since the beginning, since before I started, embarked on this professional career. And, I really appreciate you guys having a platform for fighters to kind of just give, a little bit of their narrative and backstory and kind of just everything that has to go behind it. And I feel, I really appreciate that. So, yeah, man, thank you guys. Thank each of you guys. It was a pleasure talking with you guys. And, yeah, I'm on my journey. I'm 4-0, 5-0 coming soon. I'm not sure yet, tentative, but just make sure everyone stays tuned. They can follow me on Joel Iriarte on Instagram, Joel Iriarte _ on Instagram, Twitter, website. I have a website. I'm gonna be opening up. I know we've been talking about it, but I'm gonna be opening up a gym, a sports performance gym. It's gonna be core. It's gonna be boxing, but we're gonna have it for kids with special needs. Just everyone in Bakersfield is gonna be able to show up, adults, kids. Just something that we're gonna do for the community. Is gonna be open, get kids off the streets. So hope they continue to follow my journey. And yeah, man, we'll be here. Thank you to everyone, my team, George, my manager. He's been an amazing part of my team. You guys know George, yeah. So he's an amazing person, and Ken Shear, everyone from Shear Sports, Goldenboy. My dad, all my coaches, all my sponsors. I appreciate everyone. Everyone's support means a lot. So thank you guys.
Hey, and we thank you, man. 5-0 coming soon, baby.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you for joining us, man. Thank you. Hey, Joel Iriarte, Sheer Sports, Golden Boy. So great interview, man. A lot of great things that was covered in there and talked about, man. But yeah, now it's time for us to sign off. So what we gonna do, man? We're gonna go to Gary first. Gary, man, any last words you got before we sign off, man?
It's always a pleasure. After Beterbiev beats Bivol, you better have me back on because I want to gloat. Follow me at all forms of social media, 3D Box and 3D Boxing Blog. Always appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely, man. And hey, if that happens, You know what's gonna happen because we got to get that energy, baby. Tiffany, let's go to you. Sign off.
First, I want to say, Joel, man, I like that guy. Oh my God, that's a humble kid. I really, really like. I got a lot of respect for him. That's my first time I ever interacted with him, so I'm more impressed with him outside of the ring than I am inside the ring, even though he's knocking people out. So I'm excited to see what he does. Shout out to Gary for showing up today. I love the hair. We twins today.
Yeah.
I like the braids. Shout out to Aaron and Tommy and Courtney. Shout out to all the people back in Ohio and all the amateurs. And special shout out to Layman Brewster and Buster Douglas. I got to meet them over the weekend. That was pretty cool. And they're going to be doing these type of events all the time. And hopefully we get James Toney next time. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hey, the first lady of boxing, Tiffany Daniels in the building. Aaron, sorry, y'all. What's going on, baby?
Yes, sir. I want to give a shout out immediately to everyone on screen. You know, Gary Kittleson from 3D Boxing Blog. Always a pleasure collaborating with you on these episodes. Tiffany Daniels, the First Lady of Boxing, certified USA Boxing official. Also, one of the hottest real estate agents in the game. I had to put that out there. Also none other, Tommy Russ Jr., the sneaker fiend of the group. You know, many exciting things happening with his life. Congratulations. Also, shout out to Stephen Ruiz, who also interfaced a lot with Iriarte and his when we visited Iriarte at his fight in the Virgil undercard in Vegas at the Mandalay Bay Ultra Arena. So shout out to Steven, Ringside Global. Also, the Bird Brown Sugar, Courtney Tanner. Shout out to him. Always dropping knowledge, giving us his insights. He was with us in the first half of this episode, and also out of New Jersey, East Coast, in the East Coast representing Michael Gomes. Shout out to you, and also shout out to our legacy. Our legacy members, D-Rock, Daniel Pena, and also our very first guest back in September 2017, Eddie Sanchez, representing Cork in California, and also all the listeners, viewers out there. Thank you. We appreciate your support. And also, I want to shout out just off the top of my head. I know I won't be able to remember all of them off the top, but Supreme Boxing, Just Boxing Foundation, All Access Elite. Jaime Garza, shout out. Who else? Tommy, help me out here.
Long live boxing. We got boxing ruckus. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got it's a lot of them in the building.
Hey, Tommy, take it away from here.
I ain't gonna get on to Courtney, but you know, we got McLean Promotions. You know, we got Lori Reed. We got all of them, man. There's so many of them in the building, man. I mean, Uppercuts Nation. I mean, there's a lot of people that's out here grinding, getting after it, covering this. I mean, man, again, boxing is alive and well. Shout out to every single one of y'all on the panel that has already been mentioned. We already know what it is. I got much love for y'all, much respect. Gary, we're going to have to make sure we get you back on, and then especially at Beterbiev, we'll get you back on again to let you go at it because we want that energy, baby. Man, shout out to Joel Iriarte. Shout out to Sheer Sports. Shout out to Courtney, Aaron, Tiffany, Michael Gomes, D-Rock, Eddie, everybody, all our supporters. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. This is the Standing 8 podcast. We was back again because it was episode 110. And now we out, baby. Holla. They must have hit that K-Dot and was like, they not like us.
Is to see Bud fight Fundora because I'm really intrigued by that matchup.
I mean, he's a champion. He's got to be ready. Even if we think he is or not, he's got to be ready.
They're just guys that Tiffany knows. Once you're in this boxing game, you're going to keep bumping into these same guys that are in this business.
But I think that he learned something about himself that night, which I think will carry forward in future